Welcome to another episode of the Financially Independent SLP. This is a mini, super mini course on tips on negotiating or increasing salary as an SLP. These 10 tips hopefully will help you to negotiate a higher SLP salary or hourly rate, or at least give you some ideas on how you can advocate for yourself, your financials, and to keep up hopefully with inflation. Tip number 1. Justify your valve by discussing cost and time. Calculate the cost of a patient on a PEG tube or thick liquids and the amount of money the facility saved in total when you add up all the people, or at least the number of patients in the last, years or so that you progressed to thins and got them off of thick liquids and pureed solids. If you're in the schools, some of which have third-party billing, quantify how much thousands the school made by the SLI kids you qualified and helped, how many grants you made the school eligible for by the number of students you improved, and graduated off caseload. These are just examples, but I thought of the numbers. What did my CEU courses cost? The ones they didn't pay. More education, more knowledge, more value. Think of what you've done that you can quantify. Boast on that number and demand your higher pay. Tip number 2, look at your total compensation. It's negotiation worthy. Include if there is a parking permit you need to pay for, let's say hospital parking. They may not be able to fiscally give you X amount of dollars per hour raise, but they might be able to cover your parking costs and ASHA dues and maybe even the ASHA convention. Increase your PTO time, vacation time, sick days, maternity or paternity leave, CEU stipend. Ask them to cover your BLS heart provider, AHA class coverage. Maybe they can pay for your state, local, or national organization or association fees. Maybe they can pay for your professional development, or you can request funds for a certification. Tip number 3, increase net pay. Work with a CPA or tax lawyer on your W-4 forms. Work on legal ways to increase the money on your paycheck by increasing exemptions. You may not want to put 0 on allowances if you are eligible to put a higher number. So review with a tax professional, because I am not a tax professional. But I'm not talking just about a tax preparer. I'm talking about someone who understands the tax code and knows how to help you get more money. In 2016, the IRS refunded $318 billion. So when you get a refund, that means you had a lot of monthly money withheld from your employer. But do you want more per year for that one IRS refund? Or do you want more per paycheck? We don't need a big paycheck every April. That could actually prevent you from an extra $200 to $600 to $800 per month. Find your HR department, get that W-4 form, and work with an actual tax professional to fix those exemptions. Raise your exemptions so that less is taken out of your check. Who cares about a smaller refund? You just made your paycheck bigger without worrying about what administration would say regarding your pay rate. Contributing to 401k reduces tax liability. So does contributing to an HSA. Check out the article at mybanktracker.com. It's called How to Adjust Tax Withholding to Get More Money Per Paycheck. Tip number 4, make sure you establish a track record of success stories with patients, families, coworkers, and other caregivers. When you choose to ask for the raise, it should be because your accomplishments prove you deserve it, not just because you want more money. Don't ask too soon, but don't ask too late. Have a record first, and don't ask so late that the boss thinks you can do without the money either. Tip number 5, negotiate in person. I personally do not ask questions about money via email or text or casual conversation. Oh no, I schedule a face-to-face meeting. We do face-to-face conversation. I smile a lot, eye contact, and I maintain an open, welcoming gestures. I use body language, and I use facts, not emotions. I don't say what I feel like I deserve. I show in figures how successful I have been. I've made graphs, and even in one facility, made a poster presentation. I blew it up at FedEx Kinkos and presented a case of my contributions to the company or to the career so that the new employer can know you come with a plan to generate more SLP patients. I've also demonstrated in the school setting what I contributed, and I let that district know, I know you have a need, so do I. And I'm not coming back without at least a $4 raise. They gave me 2. So it was a nice little compromise because I still walked away with more money than I had been given or offered. Tip number 6, don't complain in your negotiation meeting. If anything, ask questions. Do you mind if we discuss alternatives to compensation? See, that question allows you to bring in the options of paid parking or more sick days if they aren't budging on the salary or exact rate. Or you can change the structure of what you are asking for. Maybe you get more time to yourself and keep full benefits. Maybe you can go from 40 hours to 36 or 32 hours, but still keep full-time benefits. Now, in that case, you'll be able to make the same amount, get health insurance for the same salary, and you have 8 hours to do per diem work or enjoy your personal time. Tip number 7. Establish a list of responsibilities you had at sign-on and responsibilities that you have added since initially coming on. Establish the boss's awareness to your value. Don't take a no. Ask for compensation. If there is pushback, ask what would merit a raise. Keep a written note of what they answer and wait approximately 4 to 6 months and request another meeting and demonstrate how you met the items on the list that warranted compensation. Be persistent. Tip number 8. Sometimes you are in a situation where the employer wants you to box yourself into a number. You might think the rate you want is okay, but you might still undershoot and then limit how much you get or can get. Whether you are negotiating, renegotiating at salary review, or during a job performance meeting, or initially at a new job, instead of you generating a random number, push back with a question such as, I'd love it if you could tell me what the compensation band is for this position. See, compensation band allows them to give you a range. If they still push to make you say a number, let them know, I don't typically make rush decisions about my finances and need to mull this over. Let's revisit this question X amount of days from now. If they do give you a range, then you say, this is a great start. Thank you for sharing. We can expand this conversation further if I get an offer. Really make sure that you show them that this is a tango. You are both dancing to get what you need. We are not people who work for free. Allied health professionals, speech language pathologists, and audiologists, welcome if you're listening. We need to negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. Tip number 9, find data in published economics papers about inflation. When discussing compensation perks, emphasize how you want a future with the company, and one of the best ways to have that future with them is for a sign-on bonus on top of the compensation package, or if renegotiating, asking for a retention bonus annually or biannually. Tell them the economical statistics of inflation and how it has affected you, and let them know that you just want to match inflation. You are not interested in encroaching upon their budget. The company cannot expect you to stay at the same salary for many years in a row with economic inflation, because over time, you'll end up having less money coming to you in net pay. Know your worth, but also know your market value. Tip number 10, have 2 numbers written down before you even have a talk with your employer. One number is the lowest rate you are willing to accept. The other number is the dream rate you would like to have for the position. That gives you a frame of reference to stay within to help you hold your ground. My range is very large. My personal minimum rate is $43 and my dream rate is $120 an hour. I have signed contracts before at both rates. Know your range, know your worth, but also know your market value. Thanks for tuning in to this mini course. And let me know what are some other things related to financials, that's my little word that I've made up, that you are interested in hearing more about, learning more about, studying more about, that have to do with being financially independent as a speech language pathologist and audiologist or speech and hearing scientist if you are also listening. Thank you for tuning in. Until